Morning. So, I actually scheduled this for a bit later, but I have a meeting pretty soon that I can't postpone. So I figured I'd jump in earlier. I think Meerkat needs to accommodate those that want to reschedule their schedule. So I scheduled my stream for like an hour from now, and I had to reschedule it, but there's not much I can do. So I can't click stream on the actual schedule, and I can't edit it or modify it or anything like that. So I just had to start a new stream, which means that those that subscribe to my scheduled stream didn't get this notification, unfortunately, which means less people are in here. But what are you going to do about it? Hopefully more people will come. I'm going to not do this, this isn't going to be too long because, like I said, I do have a meeting, but I will try to cover most of the main topics at WWDC. I did, hey Jeff, good morning. Let me see who's here. I see Jeff, the one, the only. That's interesting. I see the numbers are very different than what's showing up on screen. That's strange. I only see like 7 logos, but it says 30 people, or 19 people are in here now, with 30 people altogether. Strange. But anyway, we'll continue. I'm glad you're wearing your seatbelt. Hey, Steve.
Hazard reported ahead.
Oh, thanks, Waze. Hazard reported ahead. All right, so there you go. Some people are in now. All right, so let me just jump right in. I did tweet about it, as I always do, kind of live tweeted the Apple stream last night, so you can read my tweets for my witty humor, but I'll just tell you my thoughts. Number one, all I could think about in the first half an hour of the keynote was how much money and how many hours of training went into with Tim Cook's stage presence. Because the guy is so clearly, on the one hand, he's so much better than he used to be, and he's nowhere near Jobs, obviously, but he's so much better than he used to be on the one hand. On the other hand, it's so clearly mechanical. It's so clearly like preconditioned or like trained. It's so obvious. Like, do this with your hand, do that, use this word, smile, pause. Like, it's so obvious, like, that he was trained to own the stage, which is fine, by the way. I mean, there's no CEO on planet Earth that isn't trained to own the stage, but he's not exactly the most charismatic guy, and they're trying to teach someone non-charismatic to be charismatic, so it's kind of funny to watch, but whatever, whatever. He's a great CEO, so that was just what was going through my head in the beginning, watching him and kind of like awkward on stage and trying not to be awkward. So that was my first thought. Like I said in my tweet last night, or I guess earlier for you, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in the room in which they decided on the order of the presentation. Like, who thought it was a good idea to start off this WWDC event with the new OS X El Capitan with side-by-side windows? Like, really? That's what you're trying? Like, maybe it's my marketing mind speaking, but like, don't you want to hook us in? And that's what you go for? Like, side-by-side windows, enabling me to view things side-by-side on my computer? I feel like Windows has been doing that. I mean, okay, I'm oversimplifying maybe, but I mean, it wasn't really very exciting. He even made a few jokes like, oh, here's innovation. Like, that wasn't really so exciting, and I feel like Windows has been doing that since Windows 7 maybe. So I'm really not sure why they chose to start with that. I mean, anybody that knows Apple keynotes knows that there's more exciting things to come in the later on, but why would they start with that? Honestly, that really, really confused me. Kind of why they opened up the event with that. WWDC is the event of the year for Apple, and obviously their stock and their analysts and just the market in general very, very, immediately, instantly responds and reacts to
Hazard reported ahead
to the WWDC event, and that's what they chose to start with, kind of side-by-side windowing in Mac OS. So yeah, I mean, performance enhancements, all right, I mean, again, I'm not taking it away. I love my Mac, don't get me wrong, all right? I would never use a PC again, but I just feel like that's a little bit strange to have started and kicked off the event with. Like, I mean, I would have started with something else. I would have maybe started with iOS. I don't know. But that's just my opinion. It was just strange to me. But anyway, I see there are a lot of comments here, and I will address them, but I'm driving right now, as you see, so I cannot read the screen, but I will do that later on today, or this morning here. It's 7 a.m. in Israel, by the way. I'm on my way to meet Team Zula. The U.S. team came to Israel for 2 weeks to plan something big that we're launching, and I don't want to use this opportunity to kind of plug Zula, but I really am very excited. And anybody on this stream who wants to, it's obviously very connected to Twitter. That's why it's relevant to you guys. If anybody wants to beta test something, freaking awesome. And I'm telling you that with full awkward jokes. I'm audio only right now, so I'm just gonna, hopefully the video will come back. Jeff tells me to continue talking, but I don't know. That's what I like about Meerkat, that you could see me and see my emotions with my, body language, etc. So I am gonna pause and wait for the video to come back and continue with the content. But I will say that just in general, I just feel like the jokes have just they gotta take it down 50 notches.
Heavy traffic reported ahead.
Heavy traffic reported ahead. So I just feel like the jokes are too much, a bit too much. Like, oh, you got a joke about karaoke, like potluck. I don't know. It's too much, I don't know. A lot of people were tweeting about that also. I just felt like it was just too much. I think Marky Brown, is that his name? Yeah, MKBHD, the top YouTube tech reviewer, was like, and it's possible to have too many jokes in a keynote. Yeah, it was too many jokes. It was just too many. Like, I have a problem with 1, 2, again, 5, throughout the night. But there were like every other minute, like we're talking innovation and tech, and then boom, they made some stupid joke. Like, I just feel like it was too much. I don't know. To me, it was awkward. But another thing that was super awkward, and I'm going to talk about the actual announcement soon, but another thing that was super awkward was like, and okay, maybe it's like too early in the morning for me and I'm being all grumpy. John Trist from Ludlow Ventures, one of my favorite VCs out in Detroit, tweeted me, he's like, stop being a hater, because I was hating for the first like half an hour of the event, but it was so awkward. And then every time they panned the audience, every time they took the camera to the audience, like you see these like fanboys. And again, I love Apple as much as anyone, but these fanboys are sitting in the audience, are like, dude, he didn't announce anything. Relax. Like, he announced performance enhancements in Mac OS. What do you think? It was going to be slower? And you see these people like a huge smile, like clapping, standing ovation. Like, dude, relax. I don't know. It's too much for me. The whole fanboy. I mean, I don't know. It was so.
Police reported ahead.
It was so weird to watch. It's nothing new. It's in every WWDC, every Apple event. You see these fanboys in the crowd. But like, I was just watching these people like clapping like they're in some kind of candy store. It was so just awkward. And the beginning of the event in general was just really awkward for me. There's no other word besides awkward. But anyway, let's jump in a little bit to actual announcements. So I am in traffic right now. So let me see if I could read some. Oh my God, there are a lot of comments here. Whoa. Okay, so let me try to read. I'm glad you're waiting. You're wearing your seatbelt. Thank you, Steve. Good morning, Ron. Jeff would also love it if possible to change stream title midstream. Yes, Jeff. They need to rethink the subscription notification system. Completely agree. Agree with you 100%. Jeff said notifications are getting too aggressive for my liking. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Steve, good morning. Sam. Drake. Yeah, Drake. It was so awkward. The whole music thing, we'll talk about that. It was just so awkward. Stage training can be unauthentic. They need actor training, the media training. Yes, Steve, I agree. Side by side is nursing home concept. Half applesauce, half cottage cheese. Okay. What make and model car are you driving? I'm driving a Mazda 6. Can you see how much traffic you are in from the reflection of your glasses? Good morning, all. Drive safe. I'm driving safe. Melanie, can we meet Zula? I won't mind beta testing. Hillel, plug me in. I will do, Melanie. Definitely. You need a self-driving car. Yes, Hillel. Hey, Hillel, what's up? Hey, good morning. I'm open for beta testing. Totally happy to help. Cool. Anybody else want a beta test? Just let me know. I'm definitely very, very excited about what we're building. It was the worst one by far. I think I agree. It was up there with the worst WWDC. These things suffer from audience feedback because it's too secret. It's all staged. Are you wearing an Apple Watch? No, this is a Pebble. Pebble Steel. I also sometimes get out of the wrong side of the bed. Okay, Steve. Mazda 6. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about the actual features. So, Mac OS, I mean, I don't know. There were some things in there that were, I guess, okay. I don't know, side by side and all that cool stuff. Whatever. Side by side on iPad, on the other hand, by the way. Awesome. We'll talk about that in a minute. But all right, so Mac OS, I mean, didn't blow me away. I was like, okay, fine, great. They updated it. I mean, they have to incremental updates. It's cool. It's fine. But iOS. Siri, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Siri. I use Siri all the time. At the end of the day, though, and I don't know, I just don't like the whole Android, Apple, Google. As always, I say there's enough room in the market for both. I don't need one winner takes all, and that's fine. So let's just forget Google Now and Google Voice and not Google Voice, whatever. Google Now, by the way, the reason I'm hesitant to call it Google Now is Google Now is not the same thing as Siri. People like to call Google Now the competitor of Siri. It's really not. Google Now is the push notification, contextual message notification system where it tells me you're late to your plane or leave now, traffic is building up. It has nothing to do with voice, like voice dictation. But I don't even know what Google calls their their voice dictation, whatever it is. But I don't care that they're playing the same market. I don't care who's going to win. I don't care. I don't think one's going to kill the other. Let's just move on from that, and we'll talk about that a lot more when it comes to the Apple News app with Flipboard. I just stop with the killer. Every Android phone that comes out, iPhone killer. You know, Periscope, Meerkat killer. Stop. Like, there's no killers, okay? There's Google and there's Bing and Yahoo. There's, Google and Apple. There's Facebook and Twitter. Enough already. Yes, some platforms, some things die, like MySpace. It's true. But I don't think, with these things, it's one winner takes all. So let's just leave that. I don't know why people are so obsessed with death in the tech world. It's like death of this, death of that, this killer, that killer. Enough already. Stop being so obsessed with death. So Siri is crazy, crazy cool. And I think the name of the game, as Scoble always says, is context. There's contextual computing. And the more my phone gets to know me, the better the experience, in my opinion. And I understand that many people find it to be spooky. But at the end of the day, that's where we're going. Our computer's going to know us better and learn us better and serve us better. So Siri is definitely very impressive in terms of the announcements they made yesterday. Huge steps forward. Serious deep linking. We'll talk about that in a second. Just much more context, much more. They called it intelligence, which is interesting. I don't know. They mean context, but okay, intelligence, fine. I mean, there's, context is a word being used by a lot of people. Everything Me, the Israeli company, made the contextual phone back in the day. An amazing company also, but at the end of the day, call it intelligence, call it context. It's very, very interesting that Siri's getting to know me better. And it's definitely taking a page out of the Google book, because Google obviously is all about that. And I personally have always had great experiences with Siri from day one, and now it's going to get a whole lot better, which is awesome. iOS 9, another thing that really, really excited me, and I completely realize, and it's not lost on me, that I'm a huge geek, that this excites me, but the Notes app. I use the Notes app all the time. I don't install to-do apps, apps or Note apps. I use the Notes app, and it's pretty primitive. I use it all the time. But now it's becoming a full-blown word processor. I'm talking links, I'm talking pictures, I'm talking everything, like formatting, rich text, everything. And I'm not trembling from excitement, but it definitely enhances my life, and that's what it's all about, right? Enhancing your life. So the Notes app becoming a word processor is pretty, if they can keep it as light as it is right now and as quick and snappy, and it provides all that functionality and features that they announced last night, I don't know if the right word is exciting, but that's big for me. I think that a lot of people use the Notes app, so that's a pretty big announcement. Let me read some of the comments. I love Siri, and she follows me on Twitter. That's funny, Steve. You're not a journalist or a PR person? Be thankful. There are no killers, yes. It's called Google Now. It's not called Google Now. Google Now is not... No. See, that's the misconception. Google Now is not the voice element. Google Now it pushes to you, notifications in the notification bar on Android. Google Now is not the voice. Correct me if I'm wrong, peeps, but I don't think that's what Google Now is at all. You think people will switch to Apple Music from Spotify? Sam, we'll talk about that in a second. Morning, this is awesome. Your morning Meerkat are better than morning shows on TV. Thank you, Hillel. I appreciate that. Good morning. Curious what will happen to my iTunes Match subscription. Happy to beta test too. Awesome, Ari. I will send it to you. More than happy to beta test. Awesome. Thank you so much. Mazda 6. Okay, so let's go on. So Siri's pretty epic, and I'm a huge fan. Let's talk about deep linking, right? So it's kind of deep linking is kind of a really hot space, but no one. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I wonder how many people that you hear on the stream know what deep linking is, and I'm sure most of you don't. But think about it, right? So you're on your mobile phone, you get a LinkedIn message, right? You click on that message. What happens? You're brought to a landing page. A landing page says, please install the LinkedIn app. You're like, what the hell? I have the LinkedIn app. So you click, I have the LinkedIn app. What happens? It opens a LinkedIn app, but it doesn't jump you into that message, right? You click on an ad for a bicycle. It opens up the Amazon app, but it doesn't jump you in. Why? Why doesn't it jump you in? Very simple. On the internet, links lead to pages. Each page on the internet has a URL, has a web address, right? Not in apps. In apps, a page in an app does not have a URL, right? If someone can actually create that index, that Google, what did Google do? They index the web. If someone can create that index of URL land app pages, that's a game changer for everything. So there's a lot of companies doing it. There's Button, there's URX, and the leader in the market is DeepLink.me, an Israeli company who, full disclosure, are friends. And I love the company. They have insane traction, bigger traction, not by a little margin, by a tremendous margin than any of the competitors, including Facebook, by the way. Small little kind of, not bootstrap, but small company by all standards. Raised small money, and they're doing crazy, crazy stuff. So deep linking is hot. Everyone's, Google announced deep linking, Facebook announced deep linking, now Apple announced deep linking. It's very, very hot. And it's potentially a very big industry, and it could change everything. DeepLink.me announced what they call AppWords. Think like it's a play on words, I guess, like AdWords, but AppWords. So it's crazy cool. Look at the article when they launched it. But basically, think about the following scenario. You know, I'm going out on date night with my wife, and I book, let's say, 2 tickets to a movie. So AppWords will know, okay, you went to a movie, you're going to a movie, you booked 2 tickets, maybe I'll jump you into a restaurant app, and you can book a table for dinner before or after, because it understands, again, contextual. We talked about contextual intelligence. It understands the context of what I'm doing, my actions, and they call it, I believe, intent-based advertising. Call it whatever you want. The bottom line is deep linking is super hot, and the fact that Apple's in it is of no surprise to me, but Apple needs to buy deep link. Again, full disclosure, they are good friends of mine. So that was deep linking, and that's definitely significant and important, and it's going to enhance all our lives. And again, that's what it's all about, enhancing our lives. And I think deep linking is absolutely the next step in the mobile revolution. It's totally primitive to me that I have to like open an app, or not even open the app and then start looking. Like even Flipboard, who I love, as you know, doesn't really have great deep linking, and deep linking is a must. That's the bottom line. It's a must, and Apple's getting into it, and that's big. Let's go. Let's talk about the elephant, okay? The news app. Oh God. Guys, stop with the death already. It is not going to kill Flipboard, people, okay? Google's been in news forever. Facebook been in news forever. Snapchat's been in news. Twitter's been in news. Yahoo's been in news. AOL's been in news. And Flipboard survived. Apple's going to release a news app. And you know what? Flipboard's going to survive. I went to Flipboard headquarters the day after Facebook released Paper, which was a direct competitor of Flipboard. And I asked Mike, the CEO of Flipboard, so you nervous? He's like, no. It's like, I'm going to continue innovating, whatever. At the end of the day, people, there are hundreds of millions, if not billions of people reading news on their phones. So Apple, fine, it's pre-installed on Apple phones. I get it. I'm not saying Flipboard shouldn't work hard and work fast. But to say they're going to kill Flipboard, in my humble opinion, is utter ridiculousness. I mean, seriously, if you know the Flipboard team, these guys are rock stars. By the way, Mike McHugh himself, I believe, worked at Apple. I mean, this is, you know, I think he worked at Apple. Microsoft? I don't know. I'm pretty sure he worked at Apple. But anyway, he's a rock star. The team's a rock star. Teams are all rock stars. The team is all rock stars. Flipboard's not going anywhere, and I absolutely, no matter how good the Apple news is, I'm not going to stop reading my news in Flipboard, because it provides so much utility in my life and so much value to me that I literally spend, as I did a Meerkat on this actually, I spend hours in Flipboard every day. I wake up, Flipboard. I go to sleep, Flipboard. I'm there all day, every day. I'm reading stuff, Twitter. Everything I do is basically through Flipboard. Tweetbot is where I read actually most of my Twitter, but I definitely access Twitter through Tweetbot as well. Even Instagram through Flipboard as well. Even Instagram I access through Flipboard. All my feeds, everything I read, TechCrunch, Mashable, you know, Huffington Post, Business Insider, VentureBeat, The Next Web, everything, boom, in Flipboard. So it's not going to kill Flipboard. Can we just stop already? To be honest with you, it's kind of lame that Apple's doing this. I don't know, like, it doesn't sound like they're adding anything to what Flipboard already, offers. So I guess that's what Apple does. They just kind of like come late to the market and kind of build it better, which is fine, and I'm sure it will be a great product. But then again, so is Facebook Paper, and so I don't think Flipboard's going anywhere, and I don't think anybody has to be worried about that. And I think that the whole RIP Flipboard tweets are ridiculous, and just I don't know what the obsession is again in the tech world with death. There could be room for 2 people. Apple will be fine, Snapchat will be fine, Flipboard will be fine, and everybody will be fine, because there's enough people reading the news on their mobile phone that for everyone to survive, there's enough, room for everyone. And just, I think it's just silly. I haven't tried news, and it might be an amazing experience. Chances are it is, because it's Apple and they polish. But I don't think Flipboard's going to die, and I think that's a stupid, immature way of looking at things. So you're keen on Flipboard. Steve, could you tell? Let's see who else here is using speed. There's only Evolve in Peace. Yes, I like it. Pulse had the news app and liked LinkedIn bought it. Yeah, I used to use Pulse all the time. I really liked it. App linking. Let's see here. Oh God, hold on. Someone's asking if I live in Palestine. I live in Israel. Yeah, you should come visit. It's awesome here. Evernote is awesome. Changed my whole workflow. Notes apps. Okay. Yes, I love Flipboard. Okay, so that's I just think the whole discussion of news and killing Flipboard is silly, and I don't really want to talk about it. Speaking of killing, though, the whole iPad side-by-side thing, like the thing that the note line was like, we do side-by-side processing and multitasking. Woo! Don't get me wrong, I'm kidding around. I like my Note back in the day. I don't like Samsung very much in general, but I do. The S6 is a piece of art. Basically, it's an iPhone. So, but anyway, I don't want to talk about Samsung. Point is, if anyone should be worried right now, honestly, it's Samsung, because what Apple announced with the iPad is turning it into, and by the way, the Surface as well. I don't know what the Surface market is. I don't know how many people own Surfaces, but you know, the iPad being a real work tool, like it's going to become now with this multitasking side-by-side processing that they just announced, is a big deal because the iPad is a market, I guess, shaper. You know, I said this before, right? The iPod at the time was like the default word for MP3 player, and the iPad is absolutely the default word for tablet, right? You ask my mom, tablet, she says it equals iPad. She doesn't understand. I mean, not to diss on my mom, but like, you know, I would say mainstream audiences don't even understand the difference between tablet and iPad. I've had that question, honestly, before. I've had the question, what is the difference between an iPad and a tablet? Seriously. So the fact that the iPad now is going to be a full-blown work tool is huge, actually. And I actually sold my full-size iPad. I use a mini iPad, but I don't really use it that often. I use it for like droning, basically, to see the camera through the screen. But if this is actually executed well, which it looks like it is, I absolutely am going to use my iPad more often for work, and that's a big deal in my opinion. These side-by-side in iPad. Signing off. Have a great day. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Alex, what's cooking? Okay, so there's the side-by-side. Let's talk a little bit about Maps. Maps has public transport. I interviewed Move It last week. Move It has 20 million users around the world. They raised $80 million, and they basically offer the Waze for public transportation. Should they be worried? I don't know. I wonder if they're actually integrated in Maps. I know that Waze was integrated in Apple Maps, I believe, back in the day, before Google bought them. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was. But I don't think they should be worried. But you know, it's heating up. You know, public transportation. When Apple goes into, they shouldn't be worried. They're not going to be killed, but they should be tremendously significant for Apple. I'm not a developer, so I can't even tell you what that means, like in terms of, you know, practicality, but to see the words open source on an Apple stage is tremendous. So that's just significant on that in and of itself. We're back on audio only. Another significant thing that I guess should be mentioned is a lot of females, which was cool. I mean, I don't understand why this is an issue in 2015, but I guess it is an issue. Not I've seen a woman on the Apple stage for a very, very, very long time. And there were two, if I'm not mistaken. 2? Not 3. There were 2. It was, you know, that's nice to see. I think Tim Cook, in his interview with Christina Warren on Mashable yesterday, talked about diversity in tech, and it's obviously a real important thing. It boggles the mind that's even an issue in 2015, but it is an issue. So kudos for Apple for doing that. But it feels weird for me to even be saying those words. Like, I don't know. Like, did we discuss how many people with brown hair came out? Like, women, men, why is this even an issue? Why are we even discussing this? But it is, so we are. Let's talk about Apple Music a little bit. To be honest with you, big, huge question mark in my head. Do you guys understand what's so innovative about it? So they took Ping, right, which was their social network, which failed miserably, and they integrated it into their music. Okay, cool, great. I guess they have a 24/7, but I don't really get what it is and why it's such a big deal and why it's so fundamentally different than what exists today. You know, Apple the Match and iTunes, and I don't know. I don't really get it, to be honest with you. It's a huge question mark in my head. We're on audio only. Okay, so he says Apple Music will kick every other streaming out of the game. I don't know why you say that. I'm interested to hear why you say that. I think what Move It will do is integrate locally services that Apple Maps will not have. Okay, maybe. My UDID is registered. I get it from, okay. What's your take on apps like Park Me or Spot Hero being integrated into Google or Apple Maps? Anything that can add another layer onto, you know, GPS or Maps apps, great. There's a lot of parking apps out there, a lot. Just in Israel alone, I probably know 5 of them. Yeah, sure, integrate, why not? Sounds good. Anyway, so listen, the music, they spent a lot of time on music. It was cute that he said there's one more thing. That's cute, I guess.